Hi, my name is Quanasia. Welcome to my book corner where I talk to you about books or series that I've recently read, girl. Now, if you have not read this book, I would advise you to go read it. However, there are some details I'm most definitely going to leave out. So you could just listen to this review, and if it sounds like a book you want to read, then go ahead and read it, girl. Okay, I do not want to hear nothing about spoilers. Please and motherfucking thank you. Moving on, today's book is called Street Kings Love 'Em Thick by Tanisha Sims. Okay, there's four main characters. All right, Enzy, Corey, Knox, Prince. Prince has a girlfriend named Sade. Sade no longer works. She not ambitious like he said. He said she not what she used to be. And then on top of that, she got the nerve to act like she running shit. And he didn't like that no more. He started to find her unattractive. Not like physically, but maybe emotionally. Like he just wasn't feeling her anymore. And she wasn't seeing that. She thought she run shit. Anyways, don't forget, story short, Enzy owns a boutique in Houston that is for plus size girlies because Enzy is plus size. Okay, she is in the process of losing weight. She doesn't necessarily like that she's plus size, so she's always downplaying herself. I understand her wholeheartedly. Okay, she doesn't think she's worth any good things because she is plus size. Okay, so one of her friends named Maya, I think her name was Maya or something like that. That's not really her friend. The lady do not like her. Upset because Enzy wants to have surgery. And she's telling Enzy, you don't need to have surgery. At first, I was like, oh, she's just being a good friend. But at the end of the book, I come to realize this bitch just didn't want her to be great at all. She didn't want her to lose weight because she knew she was just going to look better than her. She was going to be better than her. And you don't want the competition to be better than you, right? That's how she was thinking. That's what I got. I feel. Okay, boom. Anyways, Enzy's business is not doing so well because sales have gone down, right? So her friend Corey was like, okay, bitch, you used to be a bartender. There's a bar that needs a new bartender. I think you could go over there and make a quick coin so that you could have a little cushion whilst we try to get your business back up, right? So she's like, okay, bet. I'm going to just do it because you're right. I do need a little coin, right? Meanwhile, her daddy, right, lives in their house that they have for a very long time. The mama died when she was 16 from cancer, and it was just her and her daddy. The house is falling apart and carrying on, and the daddy AC stopped working, his HVAC unit stopped working. So she's like, I definitely need to make this money so I can make sure that the HVAC unit works, gets fixed, right? So boom, she starts going at the bar, right? She starts working, she's making tips, niggas is on her body, bitches is hating, right? Because niggas love us plus size girls, period. But anyway, so she's at the bar. She's doing her thing. Then the boss comes in. The boss name is Prince. He owns this bar and he owns a couple of other places. But we specifically talk about the damn bar. And he comes in, he sits down, and he's like, I want the top shelf. And she's like, okay, well, I need your card to go on file. And he's like, what you need my card for? So one of the other bartenders was like, bitch, that's the owner, bitch, act like you got some sense. So she was like, okay. So she hands it to him, and he's looking at her like he want to eat her for a snack. Okay, then his girl comes up. Okay, Sade. We talked about Sade. Sade comes up and she's all up on him. She calls her a fat bitch, and Prince looks at Sade like, girl, that shit ain't cute. We not doing that over here, right? He sends her and her friends on about their way. He basically sits with her. Corey decides to be with her for her first day, and was like, I'm gonna sit with you good, because I'll go up there and beat that bitch ass. And Enzy was like, I'm good, bitch, I'm good, right? So around this time is when Prince actually ends up meeting her father, but didn't not trying to follow her type shit, right? So he knows an older gentleman, and the older gentleman knows him because he knows how this fix HVAC unit. So he calls him, it's like, hey, can you fix my friend's HVAC unit? He's an old gentleman. He needs the HVAC. He needs the AC. He's like, I bet. He goes over there, fix the older gentleman's HVAC. The older gentleman, asks him to come in the house. He goes in the house, and he sees pictures, realize it's Enzy's daddy. Okay, Enzy's daddy was like, yeah, that's my daughter, she's the apple of my eye, all that good shit, right? He's looking around the house, he's like, okay, you need this fix, you need this fix, you need this fix, and I'll come back and I'll fix them, right? So he said, okay, bet, right? So then a couple of days later, he in the house fixing cabinets and shit, right? And he's sitting on the couch drinking tea with the daddy, and Enzy come in and she looks at Prince and she's like, fuck this nigga doing here, right? And the daddy's like, oh, meet my new friend Prince. And she's like, oh, your new friend, is it? So they got a chance. The daddy went in the back room to get something, and Enzy like, nigga, is you following me? He said, bitch, I don't need to follow you to know where you at, ho. I came here because I met your daddy. I fixed his HVAC unit. And she's like, oh, wow, that's very nice of you. And he's like, yeah, and I fixed the cabinets and all that good shit, right? Boom, boom, boom. Well, they start she decides, her and her friend decides to go to this boots on the ground party, right? She meets this nigga named Jace, right? Now meanwhile, Knox and Prince happens to come to that same party, okay? Now Sade and her friends was there as well. Also, side note, Maya, the friend that's not really her friend, liked Prince as well, but Prince wasn't giving her no fucking play because she ain't it, right? Boom. So anyway, they at the party. Sade is also there. So Enzy was like, listen, I'm trying to get me a nigga, right? So she ends up meeting this nigga named Jace. He's a country boy. He got a farm for his family. He pushes him up on her. He asks her out for her number, yada, yada, yada. Prince is tight, but what can you do, ho? You got her whole bitch, right? Boom. Eventually, she already knew she was going to be with Prince. Because, you done help my daddy out, baby. You getting this cookie. That's what it was given. So, boom. They eventually start talking. All right, they start talking, and she's like, if you really want to be with me, you got to leave that bitch alone. He said, you don't even got to worry about it now. After the whole boots on the ground situation, his friend Knox and Corey are messing around now, right? Boom. They're out to get something to eat. On the line in front of them, they see Sade with another nigga, and she tonguing that motherfucker down, Boots, right? So Knox calls him like, you said you and Sade was together. Well, she's over here with somebody else. So he said, oh, bet, send me proof. I don't do that. He said, she said shit. So he's like, I got you, right? Sends the proof. He tells Sade, bitch, we ain't ever gonna be together again. You dead to me, basically. Go about your motherfucking business. Sade like, no, please, yada, yada, yada. So then he tells Enzy, baby, it's just you. I ain't me and her no more. It was never me and her, but it definitely ain't me and her ever again, right? Boom. So they go and they start dating. Now Sade becomes delusional, right? Because once Enzy and Prince made it somewhat official, Prince told her, you need to let that nigga know it ain't gonna ever happen, right? So she goes and meets up with Jace, right? And with Corey, though, because she knew that Prince was gonna flip the fuck out. He already kind of did, but that's neither here nor there. And she told Jace, I'm sorry, it ain't gonna work, it ain't gonna happen between me and you. And he was like, when that nigga break your heart, see me, basically. So she like, okay, bye. Anyways, back to Sade. Sade was like, oh, he's mine, he's gonna be mine. So she decided she was gonna come up with a plan, right? The first thing she did was throw a rock into Miss Girl's business window, okay? And so after she was hunching on Prince, Enzy and Prince was hunching on each other back at her penthouse, she got a knock on the door from one of her workers. Basically, her employees basically was like, something happened at the store, you need to go down there because Corey is throwing a fucking fit, right? So she gets down to the business, somebody threw a fucking rock in her window. They looking at the security. Prince already know who the fuck it is. It's motherfucking Sade. So he goes to Sade and he tells her, this is your first fucking strike. Sit the fuck down, bitch. But did she sit the fuck down? No, she decides to call Jace or find Jace. And she finds Jace and she said, how about we do have a deal? You get your girl back, I get my man back. He said, okay, whatever, deal. Why did you do that, Jace? Why did you do that? You do not know the type of man that this is. But that's neither here nor there, right? Boom. So they decided they was going to have a little situation. Now, Enzy, I don't know if it was her birthday or whatever, but Enzy and Corey go out to the club, right? Boom. Now, Prince and Knox are there, but they're off to the side having a conversation. Here comes Sade, and here comes Jace. And Jace decides he's going to go up in her face, touch up on her after she told him to get the fuck, because she knows what type of man she got, right? Well, he didn't know how to listen. Well, Prince came out of nowhere and boxed his ass up, damn near choked him out in front of everybody. He got bloody, done lost some teeth, bloody and everything, right? Now, by this time, Sade done went ghost. She going, right? Right, boom. So, he told Jace, you keep playing with me, right? I'm gonna fuck you up. But he didn't believe him. So what did motherfucking Prince do? Prince went and called his people and told them to light his motherfucking farm up on fire, and he sent a piece of the charred wood from the farm wrapped up in Jace's skin, I'm guessing, and sent it to Sade and told Sade this was her second strike, right? But did she heed the warning? She didn't. She didn't heed the warning. Also, after the first strike, right, he lit her car on fire. That's when he said, like, this was the first strike, lit her car on fire, the car that he bought her, and then told her that was her first strike. Then the second strike was her and Jace trying to have a whole situation, okay? Third strike is coming, okay? Anyways, Enzy and Prince's relationship is going smoothly. She feels like he's cheating because he is texting unknown numbers, but we figure out why at the end of the book. He's texting unknown numbers. He's moving a little differently. She's like, oh, he might be cheating on me. Corey is like, girl, please. She ends up meeting his mama. His mama loves her. Damn boots. We love that, right? Boom. Well, girl, they end up getting engaged, right? And while they're up in the air getting engaged, hunching, right, on the jet, Miss Sade girl, decides to go up to Enzy's daddy house, knocks on the door and said, hey, I'm a friend of Enzy's, and I'm sorry, but an hour ago she died in a car accident, right? So the dad was like, come inside, right? He said, you said you are a friend of Enzy's? She said, yeah. He said, that's your first lie, because I know all of Enzy's friends. And he said, secondly, you said she died of a car accident when 15 minutes ago I was told that she got engaged 30,000 feet up in the air, bitch. And he said, then you came up in here and sat at my house and you lied. You thought you was gonna lie on my blood like that, bitch. He picked up a rifle and let off a shot. She sitting there scared. Then she went running. And he like, you done fucked with the wrong family, bitch. Right? So now she already knows. She done wrote a check her ass can't fucking cash, right? So she goes hiding, right? So Enzy's like, I want to go see my dad before we go to Mexico, because this is her birthday week. So parents decided he was going to take her to Mexico for her birthday, but he also asked her to marry him, right? So also, before he asked her to marry him, he redesigned her boutique, made it like all nice and luxury vibes, and she was crying and carrying on. And the unknown numbers he was texting were the three women that were there to help her business flourish, which was so cute and beautiful of him, because he wanted her to have something long lasting, and we love that. But anyways, then they went and got engaged, yada yada. When they got back, she went to see her dad. She saw the bullet hole. She's like, what the fuck? He tells both of them what happened. Prince is like, bet, take you and your daddy back to the house, pack you some stuff, and take you and your daddy back to the house. She's like, but you ain't gotta do this. She ain't worth it. He said, go on, take your daddy home. So she takes him home. And meanwhile, Prince calls Knox and was like, we riding, right? Now, she thought she was going to hide out at a cabin that he took her to years ago. Well, he found her. She didn't hear him coming in, and he came in, and he said, this is your third strike. I gave you chance after chance, and you ain't fucking take it. And she was like, oh, no, I'm sorry, yada, yada, yada. No, bitch, ain't no more chances. He plunges something. He got something in the syringe, plunging her where she she dies slowly or something. And then he tells Knox, light this bitch up. He burns the damn cabin around. So we don't hear nothing else about it, right? Anyways, they end up 5 years later. They have a son. She's pregnant with a little girl. I don't think Knox and Corey are married yet, but if they are, whatever. And that's the end of the motherfucking book. I thought that the mama and the daddy would eventually meet and, become a couple, but that's not how it happened. And that's the end of the book. That's the book, and it was good. The hunching, first of all, they didn't start hunching until maybe like 55% in, and it was on the popping. It was on the popping since then. Every chapter, somebody's getting taken down. Okay? All right. Now, If you read this book, comment down below. Tell me what you thought of it. If you have not read it, go read it. Come back and tell me what you think of it. Would you like, comment, and subscribe, please? And thank you, please. And thank you. Okay, bye.